Welcome back, everybody. Gonna do an old school vinyl update for you today. Got lots of stuff to share with you. Mainly thrift finds, some going back into 2016. Still got a few things from kind of my run of thrift finds in the last several months of that year that I haven't shared yet. As well as I'm going to get into the first stack of, or reasonable stack of new finds from 2017, and even a couple of mail order things I've picked up. So we're going to get right into it. First up is Annabel Lamb, Once Bitten. There's a couple of versions of this LP from her. This is from 1983, and UK singer-songwriter, hearing very much of that synth pop sound of the day. A bit of a dark, kind of gothy edge to it as well. One of the singles on here, actually the lead-off single, is a cover of the Doors' Riders on the Storm. Very dark, kind of moody electronic sound to it. And guest starring Ray Manzarek on piano as well. The Tourists, Reality Effect, in a UK power pop. I believe this is their second LP. It's on Epic. This is 1980, and this band featured none other than Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart, later of the Eurythmics. So they're a pre-Eurythmics band on here. As I said, more power pop than the synth pop than they would later be known for. Right in kind of that power pop vein that you find in 79, 80, 81-ish. Very surprising thrift find from last year here. Soundtrack to Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange. Now, confession right now, I've never seen the film. Know about it, of course. My friends and I used to reference some of the more famous lines of dialogue, but never got around to seeing the film. On Warner Brothers, quite decent shape here. Very surprised to find this one. Mainly classical music on here, kind of a compilation of, I guess, music used in the film. Maybe somebody can enlighten me a bit further. But very interesting find for sure. Getting into a bit of funk, good old Barry White, White Gold. This contains, it's on A&M, this is mid-70s I think. Contains a Satin Soul, very funky number from him. I've got a Jamaican cover of that I showed a while back on a Boris Gardner LP, which is a nice one. Nice to have the original of that now. Found a couple of Red Atlantic originals late last year in the thrift stores. First up is Aretha Franklin, Live at Fillmore West. Late 60s on this one, I guess. Cover a little grubby, but vinyl is actually quite decent on here. Red Atlantic label, Canadian original. Live appearance, of course. Ray Charles guests on here. What more do you need to say? Herbie Man, the legend. I've got this already, but came across Red Atlantic Canadian original and couldn't really pass it up. This is, of course, him hitting the southern soul rock crossover thing. Got Herbie Man on flute, Roy Ayers on vibes, Larry Coryell on guitar, Sonny Sharrock on guitar, Miroslav Vitous. What more do you need to know? Getting into a few of more recent thrift finds from this year. Found this one and it looked kind of interesting. Audio Directions presents The Grab Bag. This is on the direct disc label. This is one of those recorded direct to disc things. It was not recorded on tape. It's from 1976. Discogs listed this as, I think, folk, world, and country, but it's actually jazz. And more specifically, kind of jazz fusion. There's quite a bit of disco, dance elements on here. There's a drum break on one song. So, pretty cool find. Recorded in Nashville, Tennessee. Not really too many well-known players on there, but nice album. Found this one at a Salvation Army store for 25 cents. 4 Jacks and a Jill, Master Jack. They are a South African band. They're kind of inspired by the Beatles originally, I believe. Before being joined by a female member named, what was her name? Glynis Lynn, right there. who has quite a strong, nice lead vocal. They kind of vocally, their blend kind of reminds me of the Seekers of Georgie Girl fame, but they're more in the pop vein of the '60s pop vein than the folk, but definitely a bit of folk pop elements in there. Getting into the first thrift haul of 2017, found some good stuff. Best of Sam Cooke. I have this on a later Best Buy pressing. This is original mono, RCA Victor. If you don't know Sam Cooke, nothing but classics here. You Send Me, Only 16, Everybody Loves to Cha Cha Cha, Chain Gang, Cupid. Classic stuff. 1962 on that one. Found this one, Paul Horn, Visions. I have a couple of his Inside albums and a couple of things he's done in that more new agey, kind of spiritual, I want to say, kind of experimental vein of jazz. But this is him going in a more of commercial pop direction, mainly inspired by Stevie Wonder's Inner Visions album, 1974 on this one, so that LP was pretty current. Paul Horn doing covers of several songs from Stevie Wonder's Inner Visions album, including Visions, Living for the City, Too High, as well as some Crosby, Stills and Nash songs, and a cover of Joni Mitchell's Chelsea Morning and Blue, which Joni herself guests on the cover of Blue, doing some piano and a bit of vocals. But kind of a jazz funk on here. I was not really expecting that from Paul Horn. So cool album there. A couple by Kate and Anna McGarrigle, Canadian, I guess, folk, you would say. Kind of hard to categorize them. There's a bit of folk, a bit of country, a bit of pop, a bit of jazz even in their music. Two sisters. They sing in that close harmony, sibling kind of style that you get. So I got that debut one as well as Pronto Monto from them. I have both those LPs already, but these copies are just primo condition. Couldn't pass them up. There was two in this haul from Esther Phillips. I've definitely seen her records around in record stores, seen them posted. Haven't got around to checking them out yet. I see this one all the time. I hate the cover on this one. The big old snake there. I don't know what the deal is with that in the 70s. It's like, we've got a kind of jazz, pop, disco, funk album. Let's put a big old snake on the cover. But anyways, she is, her style is kind of, her vocal style, I would say, is kind of Nina Simone meets Millie Jackson. She does one of those Millie Jackson type monologues, and just that kind of gritty, angular kind of tone to her voice, with, as I said, a lot of disco, funk on here, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of blues, a little bit of soul. She can kind of go in any direction if she wants. And lots of great jazz players on here. David Sanborn, Ralph McDonald on percussion. Who else we got? That one, and there was the next one, Capricorn Princess. I think it's the following year. Again, similar style, disco, jazz, funk. And you've got John Tropea on guitar here. Steve Gadd on drums. Lots of good jazz fusion type players. Found this one, 2 LP. Whoop, as it falls out. Had that in the wrong sleeve. That is Charlie Bird. Compilation of his bossa nova guitars. Latin Bird. That is on Red Milestone label. Excellent condition on this one. Super clean. Thrift store find, Salvation Army. Also kind of in the Latin groove. This one was there. Tito Rodriguez, Puerto Rican singer. Brother of Johnny Rodriguez, also a performer. He had worked with Javier Cugat's band. Had a bit of a rivalry with Tito Puente. 1962 album from him. Let's do the Bossa Nova on United Artists. Cover kind of coming apart on this one. Vinyl's in very good shape for its age, and a bit of ripping on there too. Not really Bossa Nova, I would say. More samba, I guess you would say. More of that just general Latin groove, not really that that bossa nova rhythm, if you know that. Bit more Brazilian niceness. I showed one by him a couple of videos ago, and I found this one. Walter Wanderley, Rainforest, his North American debut. Cover a little grubby, but vinyl perfectly nice shape. Verve contains Summer Samba, which I think was the hit off of here. So organ instrumentals and that bossa nova groove. Does covers of songs by, you know, kind of the more well-known guys. Engineered by Rudy Van Gelder, the late Rudy Van Gelder. This was a real interesting thrift find. Blind buy, one of those blind buys I'm always talking about. It's a Polish record, my first Polish record. It is by an artist called Czeslaw Nieman and his group Aqua, I believe. Yes, Aqua, which means watercolors. There's some song titles in English here, and the liner notes are in English, which and just kind of the look of this LP kind of gave me an idea that it was some kind of rock, and also came with a post-it note that said best-selling record in Poland, 1968. Actually, Discogs gives the date of 1967 on here. Czeslaw Nieman was a singer, songwriter, poet, started performing in the 1960s, grew up in communist Poland. This is his debut album. It's right in kind of that 60s rock, kind of bit of the Zombies, bit of the Yardbirds. You can see him rocking the 60s fashions there. And he was kind of notorious for dressing in colorful, psychedelic style clothes, having long hair. This is in communist Poland, so this was kind of frowned upon. And that is a Polish pressing here. And the title track, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. That was kind of the big hit off this album. It was a well-known kind of protest song of the time, taking anti-violence stance for brotherhood. I've got a lyrics translation. It translates to "Strange is this world," and the lyrics go, translated from Polish, "Strange is this world where still is so much evil, and strange is the fact that for so many years man has been scorning man. But there are more people of goodwill, and I do strongly believe in the fact that this world won't ever die due to them. No, no, no. The time has come. It's high time to destroy the hatred within." So just that 60s rock vein, real nice 60s rock, right in, again, right in that mid-60s, getting into the psychedelic era sound. His voice sounds a lot like Burton Cummings with the Guess Who to me, which is kind of an unusual comparison, but I really get that vibe from him. Getting into a couple of mail order pickups. This is a brand new reggae reissue. Errol Flabba Holt, legendary bass player with the Roots Radix Band, which was the crack session outfit of the early 80s. Roots Radix Dub. It's a very rare dub album, now brand new reissue through the Ranking Joe music label. Ranking Joe, famous artist. It's him right there on the back. DJ. This is a heavy Roots. It's got the whole Roots Radix lineup on here. Kind of depressingly, most of the players on here are not with us. Flabba is, but Style Scott, drummer, was met a violent death in 2014. Gladstone Anderson, the end of 2015, passed away, I think. Keyboards, Steely, he's gone. Bingy Bunny died of cancer in the 90s. And most recently, famous Scully Sims on percussion. He just passed away very recently. But heavy dubs, mainly sourced from some Tony Tuff LPs, reggae singer. And that originally appeared 1980, 81-ish. Last up, I just picked this one up recently and made a lot of best reggae album of 2016 lists. And it is actually reggae from New York, Brooklyn, I believe, by a group called The Frighteners. Nothing more to say. This is the first reggae release on the Daptone label out of New York, famous for their kind of soul and funk revival releases with Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, Charles Bradley, all those guys. And this is them applying that kind of revivalist, very soulful ethic to reggae as well. These guys play very much in that rock steady late 60s, kind of early 70s era. They've kind of painstakingly recreated the sound of the early Studio One records. So very much that early reggae, rock steady style. There was a very soul influence, so it's kind of a good fit with the Daptone label. And there's kind of a story behind this band. While they were recording the album, the lead singer, Dan Klein, was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. He struggled along through the recording of this album as energy levels diminished, and he was going through his health struggles. In 2016 summer, I believe, he was attending a concert by Sharon Jones, who of course passed away late 2016, and later that night he succumbed to the disease and passed away very shortly before the release of this album. So that is on the Daptone label. Definitely one to pick up if you like that, like soul, like that early reggae, rock steady era. Just a gorgeous album here. All original songs, except there's a cover of a Son and Star song, which was I'm Gonna Make Time, which is off their album, also on Daptone. So that's what I got for you today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers and take care, and thanks to everybody who's watched, subscribed, commented. Peace, guys.